This is a hot take, guys, but I think the heavyweight division might be the least talented and least skillful division in the sport of boxing right now. I'm not gonna lie, I've said this before. I said this in a previous video, and a lot of people did agree that despite the excitement that heavyweights have to bring to the sport of boxing, despite the power, everything along those lines, I always say that these guys require the least amount of talent to become champion. If you're comparing, how hard it is to become heavyweight champion of the world nowadays in comparison to years ago, it was harder years ago when you had the Mike Tysons, the Lennox Lewises of the world. You just had so many monsters at heavyweight. You had the Ali days, the Joe Frazier days, all those legends. But nowadays, it's different. I feel like within the sport of boxing today, becoming a heavyweight champion is way more possible than, becoming a lightweight or a junior welterweight or welterweight champion of the world. I think it's way harder to accomplish that than to accomplish, becoming heavyweight champion of the world. And it didn't occur to me until this last fight between Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury that Tyson Fury might not be as good as we think, because how can a guy come from a completely different world? How can a guy come from the UFC, the MMA world, just come in and beat the heavyweight champion of the world? I'm not saying he beat him. I'm just saying there was an argument that he could have won that fight. He dropped him. Tyson Fury didn't drop Francis Ngannou. Francis dropped Tyson Fury. And, I know he was off balance. I know, it's fighting. Anything can happen. But, man, there's no reason why that fight should have been that close. And I'm just saying, the lighter weight classes are always going to be the more talented fighters. And I'll tell you why. Physically, when you have a guy who's close to 6'8", 6'9", and Tyson Fury weighing close to 250, 260 or plus, you're not going to be able to move like a lightweight. You're not going to be able to move like a welterweight physically. And take that into account, they don't have to make weight. So how could heavyweights possibly have the discipline, to an extent of a lightweight, a welterweight? Those guys at the lower weight divisions, they can't possibly have that discipline because they're never eating completely clean. They're not trying to lose weight. They're not trying to get the trimmest they've ever looked. Some are, but for the most part, that's not an issue. They can afford to have some fat. They can afford to have those love handles, but these lightweights, welterweights, and you could say middleweights as well, bantamweights, they all have to make weight. They all have to trim down, cut below their walk-around weight, and fight, rehydrate. So obviously, there's a level of discipline, a level of diligence and hard work that it takes that these heavyweights will never understand because they never had to make a certain weight. Unless they have, but there's a very few and select population of fighters that have actually had to make weight. And I feel like if you haven't had to make weight, especially in a long time, how could you really know, to what extent your body is able to perform, at its maximum potential? Not having to make weight makes a huge difference. I'm not saying it's unhealthy to not make weight. I know it's healthy, and it's not healthy to have to dehydrate yourself. But I'm also saying that to an extent, these guys dropping in weight enhances their ability to be disciplined and stick to a routine schedule where they are going out for cardio, they are running 5 to 6 miles a day, they are going to different strength and conditioning, training camps and training sessions. That's why they spend so much money on these coaches. But you can't necessarily say the same for these heavyweights. At least you can't be sure of it. It's almost a different world when heavyweights fight. And then, MMA fighters come in and they're able to have success against heavyweights. There's a reason why, because the heavyweight boxers, they don't have to deal with all that stuff. They don't have to deal with dehydrating, rehydrating. They're just in the gym. And we don't know how long they're in the gym. Are they running? There's no goal, there's no goal to get it in the gym. Obviously you're trying to get better, but are you cutting that weight? Are you looking your best in terms of, physical shape? Are you feeling your best? Are you eating the most nutritious food that life has to offer? Are you doing everything it takes to make sure you're a well-oiled machine come fight night? I think that's the stuff that messes up with a lot of majority of the heavyweights is because they don't have to make weight, therefore they don't have to go do as much cardio. The training, obviously they're training hard, but let's talk about the nutrition. They're not putting the best food into their bodies, which is why you don't see these guys so cut up. A lot of these guys have love handles. The champion of the world, Tyson Fury, isn't even in the best shape in the world. You have Alexander Usyk, who's in good shape, but let's be real, he's not cut. He's not cut up like a guy like Devin Haney is, or a guy like Floyd Mayweather was, or Shakur Stevenson. These guys are cut, and that speaks to discipline. That speaks to a level of, I need to get this down. I need to reach a certain goal, and then you carry that mindset into the fight, and it reflects in the in the improvements and the adjustments made within the fight, and it just overall enhances the performance. So I really do believe that heavyweights aren't a good representation of boxing when it comes to letting MMA fighters come in. If you take a bantamweight MMA fighter and you put him in with a bantamweight boxer, the boxer is going to blow the MMA fighter out of the water. You take a heavyweight MMA fighter and you take a heavyweight boxer, it's more competitive than at the lighter weights. That's just a fact. But yeah, it's just, that's my take on it. Do I think heavyweights in the sport of boxing right now are overrated? I personally don't hold them to a very high standard to begin with, so I can't overrate them, but I think a lot of people do overrate them. They definitely give them a little bit more credit than they may warrant or deserve, but that's not to say they're not talented. They definitely deserve their credit, but at the same time, let's not act like heavyweights are as good as the guys that, at lightweight, at 140, at 147, welterweight. So that's a hot take maybe, but that's just how I feel about the heavyweight division right now. But let me know in the comments what you guys think, if you guys agree, disagree, and any additional thoughts that I might have missed. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. That's going to do it for another Nads Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.